Jason and Leprechaun eventually went to space, but our spiky furballs made it there first. Well, technically they came from space originally, so it's more of a homecoming, I guess. I don't think anyone's expected a hidden classic with this one, but let's hope that Critters 4 can at least succeed as a fun B-movie. Welcome everyone to Screams After Midnight. I am Peter, and joining me, as always, is Tim.
Houston, we have a problem.
I knew you had something planned there. You had this little cheeky look in your face that says, yo, he's got one in the chamber. He's not...
For like the last 10 seconds, I was just literally thinking, like, what are like space lines? But I can say.
Yes. Today, it's a horror movie podcast, by the way, but today we are looking at Critters 4, the not technically final film, but for a long time it was the final one. I still kind of think of it as 4 movies, and then there's a couple of weird later things that they did, which we'll look at. But hey, since Gremlins is coming back for Gremlins 3 next year now.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Or
topical.
No, 2 years. End of 2027 it's coming out, so it's 2 years still. But yeah, maybe Critters will make a comeback too. Maybe all the little crittery knee-high monsters will all be back for more. Who knows? But yes, obviously we did the first 3 movies, and we will start spoiler-free for this one. If you believe there's anything that could be spoiled, maybe there's a couple of things, but we will start spoiler-free. We'll give you a warning before we get the spoilers. If you're enjoying the show, please do hit the like button on YouTube. It helps out a bunch. And you can also give us 5 stars in your podcast app, and you can support us via Patreon or YouTube membership and get access to bonus episodes and even more Screams, which is just different discussions that we do that are horror movie related. But I'll tell you more about that stuff at the end of the episode. So, yeah, we're in space. That's the selling point of this one. It's 1992 when the movie came out. Obviously, the movie's actually set mostly in 2045, I think it said at the start.
It is, yeah.
Which came up at a really weird time. The title of the movie came up, and then it said 2045, and then the titles played, and I thought, why wouldn't you put the caption saying that's 2045 right before the scene starts, after the titles? It was just a very weird... It was weird to get that and then go into names. It was very strange. But hey, this is the director of this, Rupert Harvey, I think his name is. This is his only movie that he's directed. He's produced lots of movies. He's even produced some good movies, but this is the only one that he ever directed. So, I mean, I guess you get what you bargain for, I suppose, with your species, your Critters 4. I've not had a lot of sleep, clearly, because I'm flubbing lines left and right. But hey, yeah, it's in space, and it has like at least 3 recognizable faces in it, which is kind of wild. Did not see that coming.
Okay, I mean, there's 2 very obvious ones. Maybe I'm missing the third one.
Yeah, maybe you are, because we got Angela Bassett, right?
Yep.
Which I guess maybe before she was a bigger name,
I'd assume. So.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise why would she be in this? But you also have Brad Dourif, who was already an established actor, but was no stranger to B-movie schlock. So
yeah, sure.
Fair enough.
It was already Chucky by this point.
And then there's kind of 4 actually. I've just realized who someone else is. The third one is character of Bernie's, played by Eric DeRay. Did you not recognize him as Leo from Twin Peaks?
Oh, okay. I'm ashamed to say that I'm not like... I like Twin Peaks quite a bit, but I've only watched it the one time, and I'm not like super, I guess, knowledgeable of it. But I'll have to keep that in mind when I rewatch.
Yeah. So he's there, and then the captain of the ship, Rick. Did you happen to recognize who that is?
Not off the top of my head.
No. I mean, unless I'm misremembering something, but I feel like I'm recognizing his photo here and his name. I believe that is Radu.
Oh, well, I mean, this is the most embarrassed I've ever been on the show. How could I not recognize the majesty that is Radu?
Yes, and for those of you in the audience, and that's all of you, saying, who the hell is Radu? Well, Radu is the lead character the titular, well, not titular, but the main vampire in the Subspecies franchise, a franchise that is terrible and you should not watch it, but Tim made me watch all of it a couple of Octobers ago. So, yeah, that's him.
Great episodes, yeah.
No, they were not. They were terrible. They were terrible. So, yeah, and then, honestly, I thought I recognized, like, a scientist on a video as well, and I'm clicking on her name, and she does look kind of familiar. What's she been in? What's she known for? She was in Mad About You. That's probably where I know her face from.
Okay.
The TV show. Yeah.
That's interesting, yeah. Pretty stacked cast, and from a franchise who we already got pretty big name from. Leo was in I forget, was it the third one he was in?
That was the last one. I was laughing actually because the main sort of, he's not a teenager, but like the young guy in this, Ethan, he kind of also looks like the guy who could have become Leonardo DiCaprio. He just didn't.
Yeah.
Like the guy in the last one became Leonardo DiCaprio. This one's got the same hair and the same general vibe, but he just kind of didn't quite hit the big time in the same way.
Well, there's still time, you never know.
Still time? He's like probably 58 by now. But all right. So yes, the movie opens with the post-credit sequence, or the mid-credit sequence from Critters 3, just in case you didn't see it. So you get a good sense of what we're doing here. A pod comes down from space to take the eggs because the critters are now an endangered species, and Charlie is going to put the eggs in the ship. And then obviously the premise of the movie is that he accidentally gets trapped in there with them, goes into sort of cryo sleep a la Aliens, and doesn't get woken up for 53 years, however long that is, until 2045 from there. And yeah, Critters, space station, crew on a spaceship, mostly made up of the names that we've talked about. I mean, is there anyone that we've not mentioned? Because everyone was kind of...
It's like a smallish crew, yeah.
Yeah, everyone was kind of someone. I also got really distracted because... so Angela Bassett's character's name's Fran, which I don't even know if I ever noticed her name. But the computer AI on the space station they go to is named Angela. So I kept getting confused when she would say Angela. And I'm like, why are you saying your name? That's weird. And then, the computer's named weird. Angela. Yeah, okay. So anyway... so that's the gist of it. I have nothing else witty to say. Tim, what did you think of Critters 4?
I'd seen it probably just once before, but it had been a while, and I really remember nothing about it other than, that's the space one. Following that grand horror tradition of the fourth one being in space, a la, Hellraiser, Leprechaun, of course, that grand tradition we all aspire to.
Well, this would have been before the fourth Hellraiser for sure, and before so this would have been first out of the fours in space. This would have been the first of those.
So it's a leader, a
loss leader.
And I remember it not being very good, but I was kind of coming in with like somewhat high hopes, like maybe it'll be fun. And I don't know, I wanted to like it more than I did. Like, it's definitely not the worst thing in the world. I think the biggest problem is just the lack of critters for me. I felt the movie was a tad long, and it was like over half an hour before we actually get to the critters. And then, even once they're there, they just felt like, I'm not seeing as much critter action as I want. This weirdly seems to be ripping off like a lot of other like sci-fi movies. Like,
for sure, tons of them.
Like there's definitely a little bit of Alien, like a little bit of 2001. There was there's like a kind of a garbage disposal scene that kind of reminded me of Star Wars.
A trash compactor specifically.
And I couldn't help but be like, I wonder, like, is this intentional? Like, are they trying to like kind of be funny with it? But it's not really. It doesn't feel like they're subverting anything. It just kind of feels like it's ripping stuff off. I mean, the cast is good, so that's definitely like a plus. But I don't know. I was just kind of feeling a bit bored in the stretches between critter attacks, and then even when you do get the critters, like I wouldn't say there was a lot of like super fun or memorable deaths or anything.
Do you know what I think it is? They had to build sets for this one, so all the money they had, what little money they had, went into the sets for the space station and that. Not that they're great sets, but they still had to build them because you can't just go to a location and have a space station sort of background. So
yeah, I will say though, I kind of thought the movie surprisingly looked good. Like, I don't know, like I didn't think it was like that bad, and I don't know, maybe it's just. Especially for October, like I watched so many shitty, like Tubi, Shudder, bottom of the barrel movies that are just like all these like really crappy, flat, like digital looking movies that
I mean, I don't know. It's shot in film. I think that's what you're getting at here. This is at least in a day where even the low budget crappy movies were shot with some level of we have to shoot in film, we have to set up like lights properly. Right, so at the very least, it comes out looking better than what modern crap looks like.
Exactly.
My feelings on it are, it's not very good. It's kind of watchable enough, I suppose. I agree that there's less critter stuff than even the third one. Because honestly, the third one had a decent amount of critter stuff now that I'm thinking about it. But I think for me, I don't even necessarily think I needed more critters per se, because I don't think that's my biggest problem with it. I mean, it is a problem, but it's not my biggest problem. I actually think that first stretch before we get to the critters is the most interesting part. And the reason why I say that is because at the very least that first half hour has a structure to it, because it's going through it's typical, it's not doing anything fancy, but it's going through the motions of introducing the characters and the crew and what their interpersonal relationships are, and it's setting up the space station, and they arrive there and they're like, oh, this is weird, what happened here? It's doing basic stuff that I can kind of follow along, get into, and to be honest, once the critters are there, I feel like it's just characters like sneaking around hallways, and there's very little sense of like structure or direction to what's happening until the last 10 minutes, and that's to me why a good like 40 minutes to maybe even an hour of this movie is just really boring with very little to talk about. I don't think there's any like exciting notable bits from the critters. 3 had the bowling ball kind of scene, which was a lot of fun. It had like the character swinging off the side of the building. Like, we didn't rate 3 that highly, but it still had moments to talk about. It still had like, I remember this bit, I remember that bit, and there was sure. There was a colorful collection of characters. Whereas here, the characters aren't like trash, but they're not particularly good either. It's a step down from the previous one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that it's like good, recognizable actors like is probably helping a lot. Like,
it is. Yeah.
I mean, like, I love seeing Brad Dourif and Angela Bassett. Like, they're very good, leading people. So it's like, doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah. Yeah. I do, because it's only a few years after this she was in Strange Days, and I think she had some small roles and some stuff before then. So I do wonder kind of like when she became more like prominent as Angela Bassett at this point. I wonder, was this a weird holdover? Like, did she already have some hits in the can that just hadn't came out and been big yet? And this is just one of these weird, kind of like Matthew McConaughey and like that Texas Chainsaw 4, where by the time it came out, people knew who he was. So him and Zellweger were trying to like erase it from existence. No, don't release it. No one can know. No one can know our shame. I've got a sex tape. Can we release that instead? I think it'd be less embarrassing. It's just kind of dull. It's kind of boring. And I the first like 20 minutes or so, I was like, I'm kind of into at least getting to know the crew a little bit, and maybe. But it goes through the effort of like setting up Angela Bassett as kind of this badass who can take care of herself, and it does that in a couple of different ways early on. It really felt like it was setting her up to be, and I don't think this is an accident, the Ripley of this movie. And then I feel like in the entire last like third of the movie, she's just kind of standing. It's like she throws one meaningful punch, but other than that, she's just kind of standing around. And so much of this movie, might I also add, is them talking to the computer that's malfunctioning. And the malfunction, how do they get around it? You just have to use some reverse psychology. You just have to tell a computer to not do the thing you want it to do, and then it'll do the thing you want it to do. And if that sounds not fun, Yeah, it's not fun because it's the same thing over and over again, and it's not really adding anything. It's like it may as well just be working normally and just doing the things they ask. It would save at least 3 seconds.
Right. Like the first time they did it, I was like, oh, that's kind of clever. But then they keep doing it, and then it's just like to the point where it's like, okay, yeah, this is like lost all meaning. It's just like a weird, dumb thing now.
Yep. So there's that. Yeah, again, not a lot of critter action. When they are on screen, they're not as funny for the most part as they have been in previous movies. So there's less personality to them.
Yeah, and if you like them just kind of jumping and, you know, someone holding them in place on their like neck or head and flailing around, like, you know, then maybe you'll be happy with this movie. But
all of them have had that, but they also had other bits too. They had other critter action.
Like, it feels like such wasted potential, too, because the fun of setting something in space is that, like, you can create so many future, like, wild sci-fi gadgets and stuff that, like, you can then incorporate into, you know, either defeating the villain or the villain using, you know, i.e. Jason X. You know what I mean? But there's, like, really nothing here. Like, there's, you know, kind of one kill, like someone kills one of the critters towards the end with something that I'm like, okay, that was kind of a neat thing, but it's like, yeah, just one little thing in this, you know, hour and 40-minute movie that it's just like, yeah.
Also, and this is actually the one thing I kind of remembered bizarrely, other than just sort of the look of the space station, I guess, because I saw this once as well, but I think I bought the DVD box set back when I was like 16 and watched them then. Oh, wow. And I think that's the last time I'd seen certainly 3 or 4, if not maybe even all 4 of them until we did them on the show. Yeah, the one thing I remembered that was there was only like 2 critters. That was, I think, at the end of the 3rd review. I said, I think there's only like 2 critters in the entire next movie, and that's kind of accurate actually. I mean, arguably there's like kind of maybe more a little bit at one point, but it's mostly just 2 critters, and they're kind of, you know, one's balding, and that's kind of how you tell them apart, and that's it. That's your whole thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's always hard to go back to like a smaller number after you've had a movie that's like, oh yeah, here's like, you know, the big multiple ones, and that's kind of what's fun about, you know, these kind of creature movies like Critters or Gremlins and stuff, is that you can have a bunch of them. Because, yeah, they are very tiny, and even if they are, you know, formidable, like, there's still these, like, little things that you could kind of, like, you know, kick around or whatever, but the danger is that they multiply so fast and that they have these big numbers, and then that's also the fun, is, like, all the stuff they can do when they group together, and, you know, they can, you know, form a big ball, or just get kind of goofy or zany with it. Like, it's not really fun if it's just 2, and they're not even usually, like, going after people. They're kind of like running away to like find their eggs and stuff. Like, yeah.
Honestly, it's funny. I feel like you complained during the 3rd movie about there not being enough critters, and I'm like, you're probably longing for that now, because like having 4 or 5 in the last one, and at least I felt like they were doing a lot of stuff. You know, they were getting involved in a lot of different kill scenes and things like that. Here, it feels like they barely do anything. You know, it's and they set up some bits of lore they do very little with. They pull some big changes to the mythology, if you will, but it's not really like explored or explained. It's just kind of, just to be surprising, and that's it. So all right. Well, I think I'll have to give the spoiler warning just in case anyone is concerned that we're going to spoil Critters 4, and we can get into it. So spoilers for Critters 4, you've been warned. So the big thing is that the alien dude, right? You know, who's been in the other movies and Charlie's friends with, he sends him the message at the start. Ugg, yes. Yeah. Although he's got a different name in the future, which honestly I thought meant it wasn't actually him. He was just using the same face. But then, there was a couple of lines at the end though that made it sound like no, it is just him. He's just changed his name.
Yeah. Yeah, so. I wasn't really sure about that either. Yeah, he is like, obviously they can, you know, like shapeshift or morph their faces or whatever. So yeah, I was wondering if that was an element or whatever too. But yeah,
no, because at the end when he shows up and he's all evil because he's the head of the Weyland-Yutani, I mean the Tetra company or whatever it's called. He's like, he sort of doesn't acknowledge Charlie at first when Charlie says, "Hey, it's me, Charlie." But then after Charlie says a few more things, he just turns to him dead serious and goes, "People change, or things change, Charlie." I'm like, oh, so you are just him, and you're just evil now for reasons. Like something in these last 40, 50 years, you've turned evil. Because, surprise?
He gives you a reason. He said things change. Is that
that's not a reason? That's not even beginning of a reason. Come on now.
Yeah.
Absolute poppycock.
Yeah, I mean, that just felt like kind of out of nowhere, and I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, it makes sense to bring him back, but then, yeah, again, just not really doing anything with him, and it does feel like kind of late in the movie to be, yeah, introducing or bringing back this new character, and then having this like heel turn or whatever.
Like have evil people show up, sure, but maybe have him show up to like help Charlie at the very end or something. But instead, they wanted this moment where Charlie like has to shoot him. And he's like, yeah, people do change, after he shoots him in the head. And it's just kind of like, I don't know why, like the one sort of thing from Heart that you had from Critters 2 that you've kind of still been clinging to, you just sort of shoved it away and turned it into a, no, Charlie must kill his friend. I don't know. Like, obviously I never cared that deeply about the characters in this for it to matter that much, but it's a sort of thing where if I did care about these characters, if I did care about this friendship, it would just be like, why did you do this with no explanation? It just feels so shitty. But so yeah, there's lots of aliens parallels in this. You've got a crew on a ship. There's eggs hatching more critters. You've also got a countdown to a nuclear core erupting. That's very aliens as well.
And I would say too, like the crew is very like kind of blue collar. Like they feel reminiscent. Like they're not
the first alien.
Like,
the
first alien. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. And you've got the evil company, of course, who wants the critters because they're trying to build bioweapons. In fact, the footage they find on the station at one point of the scientists doing like a log is basically revealing that they're trying to create the ultimate bioweapon or like alien weapon to like put on a planet so it'll kill the population, then they can come in after. And I'm like, yeah, this is very like Weyland-Yutani. And it also, other than giving like the bad guys or the evil corporation like a reason for wanting them, and they never do anything with it, they never explore it. Like no one ever asks like the evil alien dude at the end, like, why do you want this bioweapon, or why do you want this, perfect organism? And I'm like, the critters, really? The critters are the perfect organism? All right, whatever you say.
Yeah. And like I mean, I might not be necessarily against it if they were trying to do something interesting with it. It's like, oh yeah, like we're having these similarities like to this other franchise, but we're doing it like on a more comedic bent, or
poke fun at it. Yeah, do a little parody here or there. Yeah,
but there isn't really much like that. It's just played very straight, which just makes it feel like, oh, you're just ripping it off then.
Yeah, it's played straight and it's not interesting, and it's obviously a million times duller than the actual franchise they're ripping off. So yeah, there's nothing really positive to say about that. I mean, I guess, to sort of focus on the early part of the movie a little bit, interest in the crew.
Yeah, well, even before that, I will say, and I forget, I might have said this at the last of the third episode, or at the end of the third movie review, but I do think that this is like a good premise. Like, I like the idea of, okay, we have this menace and we can finally get rid of them, but then we're stopped because of this, like, universal code or whatever that says, like, oh no, they're the last of the species. And I don't know, like like maybe it'd be like more interesting, like if you want to bring Ugg back, but maybe he's trying to protect them, versus like Charlie or something who wants to wipe them out, or like something like that might be a bit more interesting. But I just think as like a premise, I like that idea. But I mean, again, it doesn't really end up mattering much, because once, the critters and stuff get awakened, it's not like the whole, saving the species thing really comes into play again or whatever, other than, the company wants them. But
so we get introduced to Ethan, our young guy, who's like excited to go to Earth. Now, I think at the start of the movie, you're meant to assume that he's excited to go back to Earth, but we find out later that he's never been to Earth. Because, growing up in space or on another planet is just normal now in 2045. I feel like we're running behind if that's where we're going to be by 2045. But hey, Also, you will be 60 or 61 about then, right?
When 2045
Yeah.
rolls around.
Yeah, you'll be in your 60s.
No, not quite. I'll just be shy of 60.
In 2045?
Yeah, because that's just 20 years from now. I'm not 40.
Are you not? I thought you were 40.
I will be 40 next year.
Oh,
So
Matt just turned 40. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I knew one of you old bastards just turned 40.
So I'll just be a wee bit shy.
A wee bit shy. Okay,
60.
you're almost 60. Okay. Yeah. I'll be a spry 56-year-old.
I'm sure we'll be talking about I still know what you did last summer.
I know what you did 27 summers ago. No, I know what your grandkids did in the summer of 1997. Okay, so we introduced to him. We introduced to what's his name? Albert, not Albert. First name Al, second name Bert. That's Brad Dourif's character. He's the engineer. We're introduced to Fran, Angela Bassett's character. We're introduced to Bernie, who is... I don't even know what his job is in the ship, but he's there. And that's kind of the crew. Other than the captain, of course, Radu himself, played by Anders Hove. His name is Rick here. So, Rick Radu, you can remember that easily. And he's kind of like just an asshole. Like, everyone seems to dislike the captain. Everyone seems to just hate that he's a bit of a creep. And he does like sort of stare at Angela Bassett for a while at one point early on, which pays off when they get to the station. And she says, oh, they've got running water here. I'm going to go take a hot shower. Cut almost immediately to Harley in the shower, right? And the water's going through her hair and she's enjoying the water. Cut outside in silhouette. You can see her in silhouette in the shower, and the captain's just sitting there, just licking his lips, and he's even like, hey, Ethan, young guy, come here and look at this. Isn't that great? Now get out of here. This is big boy stuff. And he goes into the shower, and like sort of watches for a bit, and then he makes a noise and she turns around and she's like, come here. And it's kind of soft, as if I'm like, oh wait, was he not being a pervert earlier? Are they already like a thing secretly? And like she was just been like, hey, not in front of the others earlier. But then she punches him in the face really hard, and it's like, oh no, she was just suckering him in for a punch. And the crew all kind of walk into this like locker room area and see him with the bloody nose, and they all start laughing at him. And this prompts him to go be a dick and release the critters because he's curious about what the cargo is they found. So that's almost his entire bit. He's the first to die, which I was thankful for, because he was definitely the annoying character for the most part. But
he's an asshole, so yeah, he gets his just desserts. It's fun to watch him die.
That said, though, he does have more character than Bernie, who just out of nowhere halfway through the movie says he really wants to go to the pharmacy on the ship for pills.
Yeah.
And then when he does get a key card to go to the pharmacy, he's like just shoveling bottles of different pills into his bag. And I'm like, wait, do you want to sell these? Or like, because these are all different types of pills. It's not like it's one kind that all have the same effect. You're just kind of shoveling anything that counts. Like, some of these are like probably have really minor like effects to treat like a headache or something. Like, what we like we do. Not all these are going to be valuable.
Yeah. Although I mean, you never know. Like, it's if stuff in space is like so rare, maybe even something like just some Tylenol or something could be at least good to have. But I mean, yeah, obviously he's doing the very over the top comical, like, drug user guy that just can't get his fill.
Yeah, Brad Dourif's whole thing is basically just that he's kind of teaching Ethan how to be an engineer and just is constantly getting annoyed at him. And that's basically his whole character. Fran, after punching the captain in the shower, basically has nothing to do until she gets to punch someone else in the last 10 minutes of the movie. Like, it's actually shocking how little some of these characters have to do for most of the runtime. Ethan gets the most to do. Not that any of his stuff is impressive or that good, but he is technically given things. So anyway, they find the pod that's floating in space with Charlie and the eggs. They grab it and they report it to whoever, and
Tesla or something.
Tetra. I mean,
Tetra.
That would have been funny if they predicted Tesla as a company name, but no, Tetra. And they're basically told, hey, go drop it off at the space station, we'll pay you triple the usual salvage fee. And the captain doesn't want to take it. He wants to like try and like scam them out of more money. And everyone else, except Ethan, bizarrely, is like, no, don't be an idiot, don't piss off Tetra. And that's where you're getting like the Weyland-Yutani Umbrella Corporation vibes of like, yeah, we don't want them to be mad at us. Like, that's like a huge pain in the ass. Let's not do it. And honestly, like, obviously this like sets up some character stuff about like the captain being more like, I don't know, reckless and not wanting to do the safe thing. But I felt like if you're going to introduce the idea that he's going to try and like swindle them, I feel like there should be some consequences to it, and I don't think there ever really any is. I mean, obviously he backs down and just kind of agrees, but if you're going to raise the prospect, then do something with it later. I guess that their argument is that him going to check what's inside the pod later at the space station is the payoff, but I feel like, I don't know, I felt like there was more to be done.
Yeah, I feel like typically, even though he's like, you know, the annoying asshole guy, usually in the movie he would be someone that would, you know, be closer to the end, and then, you know, you probably have him, you know, like start freaking out and like being all cowardly when the critters show up, and then like at the end of the movie he'd probably try to sell out the crew and join up with Tetra, and then
that's what I'd expect. Yeah,
and then obviously, yeah, something would happen where, you know, he gets hoisted upon his own petard or whatever, and then, but yeah, nothing like that here.
Yeah, instead he gets a baby critter like in his throat until he dies. Like the critter basically just does like a dive into his mouth and like, okay, choke on me. Choke on me. There's less effects to do for this, so this is easier. Yeah. Go for it. So yeah, that's the whole thing. That's what gets them to the space station, which is abandoned. Clearly things have went bad here. Although I feel like there's almost no dead bodies though, which is like, so where's all the bodies of the people who, did they all evacuate? Because it doesn't seem like they did, but
I don't know.
They were doing genetic experiments and stuff. They found out the nuclear core is like deteriorating, and I think at this point they say it's maybe get a month before it goes, and we're all going to be screwed. So obviously we're not going to be staying here that long anyway. That said though, by the end of the movie, the computer's like, made a mistake, 10 minutes. Going to be 10 minutes. And honestly, like, I mean, what is there to say? Once the pod's opened and Charlie wakes up, he ends up teaming up with Ethan. They sneak around a bit. They fall in the trash compactor. There's more talking to the computer in code and like bizarro speak to try and get it to do what they want so they can get out and safely. I guess the most interesting thing once Charlie's up is that there's at least a little bit of talking to him and like him realizing, wait, I'm not in the same time period anymore, because like he shows his driver's license to Ethan and it's like, he's like, hey, this expired a long time ago, and he's like, it's next year. I've got a year to get this renewed. And they're like, buddy, it's 2045. And he has this whole, everyone I know is dead. And then I thought to myself, Charlie, you didn't have any friends on Earth anyway. And more to the point, you left and went to space for a while and then came back, and you were sort of living as a lone like critter hunter on Earth, like a homeless man. I'm not sure exactly who you're going to mourn here. Who are you missing exactly? The kid from the first two movies? Are you still keeping in touch? You pen pals? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that seems a bit odd, and I don't know. Maybe it might carry more weight if he was kind of a bigger character, because like, yeah, he shows up in all the movies, but he's always kind of like, you know, like a little side character that's like usually off doing his own thing, kind of separate from like the main group of characters. So
yeah, I feel like he got a lot in the second movie, but he definitely took a backseat in the third one for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because they were shooting this in the third one kind of like at the same time, so they kind of intentionally wrote him so that he wasn't in much of that one.
That might make sense. Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me because they obviously had it. They released them very close together, so it wouldn't shock me. So I mean, honestly, I don't have too much to say about anything that, you know, obviously. So Bernie, the pill guy, he gets killed when he goes for the pills. Doesn't go very well.
Which again, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that one too was just like, yeah, them jumping on like his head and neck, I think so, stuff, and just kind of flailing around.
Yeah, there wasn't much to it. And then there's some sneaking around. The computer babbles about the nuclear core going off, and there's more sneaking. And they actually get back to their ship. and Albert, Brad Dourif, whips out. He's got like a old Colt pistol, but it's like a souvenir. It's like a sort of antique kind of thing. But he's got bullets, and he's like, "Charlie, do you know how to fire this thing?" And he's like, "Yes," basically. I mean, he doesn't say it that way, but I can't be bothered trying to regurgitate what he said. So, Charlie, being the screw up that he is, wastes 5 of the 6 bullets until he finally kills one critter that's on board the ship that they're trying to fix up. And he destroys the computer panels, and they can't use the ship anymore. And they're pissed at him. Rightfully so, might I add.
Yes.
So that's that. So they're forced to wait for the company to show up now, even though they're not really that trusting of what they're going to find when they get there. So that's kind of your big dramatic point getting into the last chunk of the movie, which is, you know, the Tetracide ship landing, or docking, I should say. And, you know, Alien Ugg comes out. He's got 3 guards with him who, at this point, so for some reason, after the whole Charlie shooting the computer and the ship controls up incident, Ethan just kind of randomly decides to steal the gun and go back into the space station. And he's sort of like saying that he needs to hunt down that other critter for some reason. And I'm like, what is motivating this? I feel no justification for you wanting to go John McClane on the space station all of a sudden, but he is, and it actually does feel a little diehardy once the bad guys show up, because once those guards are like walking around, he's sneaking about and telling the computer to shut doors, and then he locks them in a room. I mean, that's them. It's actually kind of anticlimactic, to be honest, but they do a whole sequence where he's sneaking around because they don't know he's there, and also the bad guys just kill Brad Dourif because they're like, hey, I'm serious. I'm a serious bad guy. I'll shoot you fools. And that's what he does.
That is funny. Just earlier this week, I kind of was randomly watching Die Hard 2 because
as you do,
been a rather long time since I had seen it, and yeah, it is like funny, just like how much in that movie he's just like, I can't believe this is happening again. It was just like, he's like, oh man, I'm in like this like back room like filled with crates and sewers and stuff again, and terrorists again. And it is pretty crazy that would happen to someone like more than once.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Now, what was that one of the movies that like originally wasn't Die Hard and then they just like threw McClane into it, or was that?
Oh, I don't know for sure. I know 3 was definitely like that. Okay. But I want to say maybe that was the case as well. I think like a few of those sequels. I want to say maybe only Die Hard 5, bizarrely, is the one that actually started as a Die Hard sequel in the script. Whereas I think the others were all sort of either based on a book that had nothing to do with Die Hard, or were another script. Like Die Hard with a Vengeance was originally Simon Says, and then they turned it into a Die Hard movie.
Like that one makes sense, like because you can totally see like, oh, like yeah, this is a premise like where, you know, a terrorist is making like, you know, a cop and like a random guy like, you know, kind of play this game and stuff, and then so I totally get that, but yeah, the other ones, it just feels funny, like, I don't know, throwing him into it. Yeah.
Hey, it's better than 4 and 5. I'll say that. It's better than 4 and 5.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be revisiting those anytime soon.
I do not recommend them. So, okay, so yeah, the Ethan runs around with the gun. Like, he eventually comes out after he finds some critter eggs, and he juggles them to distract the main alien bad guy so that Angela Bassett can grab his gun from the back of his trousers.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you missed a very, very important part of setup in the beginning of the movie, which is that he juggles.
True. I don't know if they need to set that up. I feel like I could have just bought that he could juggle, to be honest, but
you know, some geeks in the audience would have been like, oh, like, we never knew he could juggle. What is he, a Mary Sue? Like,
oh dear. Interestingly though, Angela Bassett does not fire the gun, maybe because she doesn't know how to use one. She just punches the alien with it. There's another standoff though when the alien points his laser blaster at Ethan, and then that's when Charlie has to make his choice, and he shoots the alien in the head. And then at that point, it's just about running and getting out before the nuclear core erupts. And also somewhere in all this, the final critter comes flying at Ethan, and he puts like a cryo tube into his mouth and sort of freezes him from the inside.
Which I thought that was a fun kill. It's like something different.
Yeah, I think it'd have been more fun if we had the effects to actually like make him completely freeze and then like smash him or something.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Something a bit more visually interesting. But it is kind of wild how there's a lot of like looking for critters. There's a lot of like looking for their eggs, but there isn't a whole lot of like actual critter action. It's actually kind of like wild how little I've talked about the critters themselves.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say.
No. There's entire stretches of this movie where basically nothing's happening. There's just like creeping around corridors and maybe there's a noise. Oh no, right. And I know that happens in a lot of horror movies, but there's usually some structure. There's just like a goal to each part. There's kind of a through line to kind of follow along with. This is one of these like kind of rough movies that don't even have that. So yeah, rough times.
Yeah, and I know like an hour 40 isn't like super long, but I mean you could have like cut this down to 90 minutes easily. I feel like
try 80 minutes. I think 20 minutes of this can go quite happily without any fuss. Yeah, I mean, the end of the movie just sort of plays it for a joke ending where, the three survivors are Ethan, Charlie, and Angela Bassett's character, and they're on the alien ship that they've stole, and they get away in time, and they go to fix something. So she says to Charlie, hey, Charlie, don't touch anything. But of course, he's too tempted. All the flashing lights are too much for his poor mind to take. So he walks up to this chair, he eyes them up, and he presses a button, and the movie ends with the ship spinning out of control, and credits roll. I forgot to say, see when they first open the pod, when the captain opens the pod to see what's inside, once he kind of pushes Charlie back, and he goes in and has a look for what's in there, the compartments that had the eggs in them, I can only describe the substance that was dripping down the side of these as jizz, because it just was this white kind of it was it stuck out, right? There's nothing else interesting to say about this goddamn movie, so I'm just I'm looking for whatever nuggets I can find of humor to add.
Sure, certainly. Yeah. I mean that's kind of the worst part, is that like it's just like pretty dull, so there's really not much to talk about. At least
in fact, do you know what it's like, Tim? Do you know what it's like? Mm-hmm. It's like a subspecies movie.
One of the rare bad ones.
Yeah, all five of them, more like.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not much to talk about. Like, yeah, at least if it was maybe more over the top, or I mean, I know you don't like this movie, but like at least Leprechaun 4 is like batshit crazy, and there's lots of like crap you can talk about in that movie.
I mean, the key word there is crap, but yes, there are things happening at the very least that could lead to some discussion. Yeah. This is just devoid of really anything. There's barely a story. What little there is just kind of recycled bits of other movies, mostly Aliens. A little bit 2001 with the computer, I guess. And
it's strange because, like, they obviously knew, like, what they were doing with this movie, because the third one ends with, the lead-in for this. So they clearly had I'm assuming they'd probably been filming around the same time. But if not, at least, had an idea of what was going to happen. So, it feels like, oh, yeah, we have this big idea for the fourth movie, and we're going to be going right into it. But then you watch it, and it's like, it doesn't feel like, you had, like, like a crazy idea that, like, oh, man, this must be told. Like, people are going to be so into this. It's just, like...
Yeah, the amount of scenes that just cut back to, like, Fran and Albert just talking about what's happening and the computer interacting with them is absurd. Like, there's so many scenes of just nothing conversations that don't advance anything. And they all boil down to, we should leave right now. No, we should wait for the company to show up. No, I think we should get out of here. And that's it. There's, like, several scenes of that debate. There's nothing.
Yeah, and like you said, the computer, it's really just doing that one joke where it's like, oh yeah, it does the opposite. Like, it would have been fine if it was just like totally malfunctioning and like saying these crazy things and like you would have to think of like new and interesting ways to counteract it, or whatever. But yeah, it's really just the one thing that it does.
Yeah, I thought they actually wrote it out of the movie because like a little bit in it starts to do that thing where it slows down and as if it's dying. And I thought, the computer's just died, so they can't rely on that anymore. That's a good idea because that means they have to think outside the box. And then like 2 scenes later, they start talking to the computer again. I'm like, oh, I guess the voice is just going in and out of sounding weird and high pitched or low pitched or whatever. I was like, okay, I'm bored. Movie, do something, anything, please, anything interesting. That would be nice. Like, don't get me wrong, we've done worse movies on this show. Sure. We absolutely have. It's if you put it on in the background, it's not going to be the worst thing you have in the background. At least there's some nice faces, or recognizable faces, I mean, that you can be like, hey, I know that person, they're good in other things. It's kind of interesting seeing them in this crap. But it's the worst of the 4 so far, I think, by a reasonable margin. I honestly didn't think it was going to be as much of a step down from 3 as it ended up being. I thought they were going to be pretty equal, but yeah, 3 is better than this. For anything we said about 3, this one is definitely another step down.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the same thing. Like, I thought, like, oh yeah, 3 was kind of a disappointment, but maybe 4 will, it's in space, maybe it'll be bigger and crazier and at least have like a fun dumbness to it. But no, that's not the case.
Nope. I actually almost thought they were going to do like not that they'd have been doing this intentionally because Jason X didn't exist yet, but I almost thought when the critter gets into the science lab and starts like touching some of the electrodes and stuff, I thought, oh, are they going to do an Uber critter? Are they going to do a critter that gets enhanced by the lab experiments? And
yeah, I don't know if was Gremlins 2 out at this point, or is that like a few years?
No, Gremlins 2 was out 1990, I think. So 2 years before this.
Yeah, because like to me that's just like one of the funnest sequels because they just go so over the top with it, and then one of the fun things about having that like science lab thing in it is that they can create all these different kind of gremlins, and I was hoping for something like that, like especially when like they're in the labs with the eggs and experiments and stuff, and it's like, okay, can we maybe see? I mean, again, I guess it'd be kind of a ripoff or whatever, but it'd be fun to see like them doing some different things with the critters to make it stand out, and again, just to give it a little flair, make it more interesting. But
hey, look on the bright side, we'll have a reason to do Gremlins 2 when 3's coming out. That's
true, yeah.
And we can see just how not crazy 3 is compared to 2, because it's not Joe Dante, and it's not going to be... I almost guarantee you that it's not going to be as zany or as meta. It's probably going to be more like a soft, like nostalgia reboot of the first one, but maybe less, or maybe more kid friendly because Gizmo toys sell.
I know. I wish I could say I was having more excitement for this. Like I saw like some people seem to be into it, but for me, it's like if you don't have Joe Dante, then you have nothing. Like I know Christopher Columbus wrote the first screenplay or whatever for the first movie, but I feel like so much of those 2 movies are just have Joe Dante all over them. And I mean, as far as I know, like I don't think he's even back to like consult or do a draft or anything. So it's like maybe if he doesn't want to direct, that's fine, but to me he has to have some type of involvement. I mean, I guess my worry would be like, is this going to be like Gremlins Afterlife, or
that's exactly what I think it's going to be. It's going to be Gremlins Afterlife, Gremlins Dark Fate, Gremlins The Force Awakens, Gremlins Halloween 2018. It's going to be one of those. That's exactly what it's going to be. I'm expecting like Phoebe Cates to come out of retirement to talk about our Santa dad dying in the chimney any day now. Don't you worry. All right, clearly we're done talking about Critters 4. So Tim, would you like to rate the alleged film?
Yeah, and if anyone's a little disappointed that this is a shorter review, just keep in mind, after this, we're going to be doing a bonus episode that should be pretty beefy. So, if you're not on the Patreon, it'd probably be a good time to check that out. Just a little pre-plug before we get to the plugs.
I make no apologies. They gave us Critters 4. This is the review. Like we've milked it with tangents as much as we could. So go on, Tim.
don't know. Is even a 4 too high? Maybe a smidge down, like a 3.5. I don't know. Like, I hate to go that low, but yeah, it's just it's so boring and dull. There's just not a lot to grasp onto. I mean, again, like I think it has a good premise. I think there's good actors in it. But yeah, like there's not really many good deaths, and it felt too long. I wanted more critter action. Yeah, I don't know. It's a shame. I don't think I can really go much higher.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right, to be honest. I could even go a 3. And I'm not as mad at it as I am, I think, with other 3s. Like, I think it's kind of inoffensive, regardless of how bad it actually is, but it's kind of, yeah, I'm going to say 3 out of 10 for me.
I hate to say it, but I was kind of excited when we were going to do the franchise, and obviously it's been like years now since we started it, but I like, you know, I like the look of the critters. I like the idea, and like I know it's like a cheesier franchise, but I had more hope coming in that like rewatching these, I'd be like, oh, you know what, these are so fun, and yeah, the sequels later are dumb, but you know they're cheesy and fun in a bad way, and yeah, unfortunately, it's just it hasn't really panned out that way. Like again, we've definitely done much worse. Like I still think, you know, there's some fun to be had in like, you know, the first one and the second one, and even the third one, I guess a little bit, but yeah, it's not something I'm gonna feel like super need to revisit anytime soon, you know? Like,
oh yeah, well, there you go. Critters 4. That's the main 4. We'll probably at some point do the later ones, but I don't think we're in a rush to get to those yet.
Yeah, well, there's it's mostly just there's like one more. I think technically there was like a weird like
there's like a
web
mini series that get edited into one long thing. Yeah,
but I don't know if we need to do that. But then yeah, I did see the 5th one, which at the time I remember kind of having some fun things, but I want to say that was like a sci-fi movie or something. But
as in the Sci-Fi Channel, you mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll do it eventually, but I'm not like, oh man, we got to get to it right away.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless that's what people want us to do. I don't know.
Now, they'd rather torture us with more Resident Evil sequels, which, speaking of which, all goes to plan. Next week should be Resident Evil Afterlife, which I think is the name of the 4th one. If that's not the name of the 4th one, then that's the 4th one we're doing, and whatever that's called is what's next. We did Mad Max Resident Evil with the 3rd one. We did The City Resident Evil with the 2nd one. This one is the prison Resident Evil, if I recall.
Prison. Okay.
I want to say it's set in a prison. At least part of it's set in a prison, but we'll find
it. That doesn't ring a bell, so I wonder if I've saw this one. We might be getting to the point where some of these I haven't seen. I think I saw one more, but I forget which one. But we'll see.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out in the not too distant future. So that's what's coming next week. Thank you very much for joining us. You can, of course, support Screams After Midnight and all the stuff for Male Fuzz Movies by going to patreon.com/MaleFuzzTV or becoming a YouTube member and get access to the bonus episodes where we review weirder movies, you know, like The Dentist or Burial Ground or things like that. That was the last couple anyway. And you also, of course, can get access to even more streams where we do a bunch of different discussions. Sometimes it'll be like a review of like a short movie or something like that, or like a little top 5 or something else entirely, whatever really comes to mind. And we could do those most weeks. I think we had like 1 week off coming out of October just as we were getting back on our schedule. But yeah, go look for that. But that is the show, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. I know it's rare we go under 60 minutes now, but I mean, Critters 4 really just didn't have the juice. So thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. Keep watching scary movies, and we will see you next time.